This presentation will give instructions on the slide preparation of biological samples for microscopic viewing. These preliminary tests for morphology identification will be viewed under a bright field microscope. We will be looking at the procedures for creating bacteria slides and fungus in mold form slides. First will be the procedures for preparing a bacterial slide from a swab or blood sample. This is important if you need to identify a bacterial agent that could have been the cause of death, such as E. coli or anthrax. If present, these biological agents must be reported to the CDC. Even a natural death will be investigated if it may have been caused by a contagious disease that could harm the community. To identify an unknown bacteria, the gram stain technique is used first to categorize the bacteria as either gram-negative or gram-positive. To begin, the biological sample must be applied to the slide and then heat fixed by putting the slide on a hot plate until dry. The slide is then stained with crystal violet and rests for 1 minute before being washed. Then grams iodine is applied and again must rest for 1 minute before rinsing. The slide is then decolorized with alcohol to remove any excess stain not attached to the bacteria. The slide is held in a slanted position for this step to prevent over-decolorizing. Decolorizing is followed by a wash. The final stain to be applied is safranin, which is allowed to rest for 1 minute before being washed. It is then air-dried or immediately blot-dried if necessary. Once dried, it is then examined under the microscope for color and morphology. This is a classical microbiological method that seeks to define the common features of a specific bacterial group for the identification of microbes. Today, new molecular methods along with classical methods are used in microbial forensics, a newly developing subdiscipline of forensic science. Microbial forensics can be used to obtain information regarding the identification or source of a material used in the act of bioterrorism. Next, the procedures for preparing a fungus slide from a mold form, which can help to identify where the host has been. Each fungus has its own natural habitat and ways of dispersal. Knowledge of fungal ecology or mycology is helpful for understanding these laboratory results. The first step is to place a drop of lactophenyl cotton blue in the center of a clean slide. Then a Scotch prep technique will be used, which is holding a piece of tape in a U shape with the sticky side out. Using this technique, you will gently touch the surface of the mold colony to pick up a sample. The fungus on the tape is put directly on top of the drop of lactophenyl cotton blue on the slide. The ends of the tape are then wrapped around the edges of the slide. The slide is then examined under the microscope for morphology. The identification of the fungus can determine whether the host has been present in certain areas of a region, the country, or even the world. Today, forensic mycology applications include roles in providing trace evidence, estimating time since death, a certain time of deposition, cause of death, and even the location of buried corpses. These basic procedures for bacterial and fungus samples are used regularly within clinical laboratories, but right now are rarely used by forensic scientists. With the involving disciplines of microbial forensics and forensic mycology, these procedures may become more common within the forensic science community as preliminary tests.